What a situation,
Mm-hmm.
right? We really got thrown off there. Our audio was not working, but now
Yeah.
it is. So we're good. We're glad to be back.
Yes. Very sorry, everybody. Did not mean for audio to suddenly not work.
I know, right? Well, we're back, baby. Should you get the tunes going again?
No, we already did the tunes.
Yeah, but maybe not everybody experienced it. No? So you want me to have different tunes?
Yes. Classical music.
I got to get some new sound effect updates too.
Yes.
You like that one? That was good, right?
That's the worst one by far.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I say they just need different music because that music is mid.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how about this? So now look, our audio is working properly. So apologies for anybody that joined a minute ago. Okay, we're back. What are we going to talk about? Tell me.
The 50-year mortgage plan that Trump is possibly proposing. Very interesting idea. Possibly a bad idea. We're going to talk about that today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I have some opinions. So for those that aren't aware, Trump and the administration has been talking about 50-year mortgages to get people boosting up home ownership again. And so right now, you can get mortgages of different time durations, but typical is a 30-year mortgage. So when you buy a home, you got a 30-year mortgage you're paying off.
I still think that's a lot.
That's a long time. But 50-year mortgages would effectively bring down the payment, but then over time you'd pay more interest. So tell me, William, as much as you know about mortgages, what do you think about this?
First of all, I do not know much about mortgages. Second of all, I don't think that's very good. And I'll tell you why. Firstly, I don't really know anybody that really owns a home for 50 years.
Your grandparents?
That's a good point. Well, no.
I
haven't been in their house for 50 years. Right.
True. That's true, actually.
Most people eventually sell their house and move into a different one, maybe in a different neighborhood or something closer to somebody they know, possibly.
Yeah.
Like all up and down the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
And so that's first of all that's like a very long time to have a mortgage. I even think 30 years is kind of too much. I think the max that you would ever maybe want would be like 20 to 25, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point, you're just having
do you know
it just
why
seems like awfully long.
Do you know why they do these long-term mortgages? To pay off the home over that much time?
Well, probably so that the homeowner does not have to pay it off immediately.
Right. So it makes the home, which is a huge purchase, like probably the most expensive purchase you'll make in your life, then it makes it more affordable, right?
Mm-hmm.
On a monthly basis or on a payment basis, but over time you end up paying a lot more because you pay interest.
Yeah.
And you know how interest works?
Like, the interest on the debt and stuff.
Well, there's that, yeah. But the interest on like a mortgage, you'd pay just a little bit more than what, the actual payment would be. And then that not a little bit more, but you'd pay a decent amount more. And then that goes to the bank. So the person who's taking the risk to give you the loan for the money makes interest on it. And so that's how they make money, is giving you a loan and making money on the interest. Yeah. So let me ask you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start by saying, not a fan of a 50-year mortgage.
50 years is a long time.
I think there are pros and cons. Let's lay them out. The pro would be you'd get more people buying homes because the payments would go down. However, because we have a 50-year mortgage, most likely the price of homes would go up a bit because there's more people that have the buying power to buy into them, right?
Yeah.
So it will most likely push the value of homes up, which they're already too high. They're exorbitant.
Oh my gosh.
Particularly in comparison to inflation over the past several decades. Homes have risen disproportionately to typical inflation or the value of the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
So it could make homes even more unaffordable. And then what happens is you just end up paying interest. So who ends up making money on this, unless the homes appreciate a bunch in value, which that has benefit. Has a benefit. Like if people buy a home and it goes up a bunch in value, and that can be good. But If it doesn't, now you've just ended up paying a bunch of interest. So I ran some quick numbers.
Iran?
Not Iran. I run a quick little number analysis on what mortgage payments would be. So if you had a 15-year mortgage, okay, you'd pay off the home in 15 years at 6% fixed rate.
Okay, that's not
Okay,
bad.
on a $500,000 home, which is not a crazy amount for a home. It's a nice home, but not crazy. But let's just say that's a little bit above maybe the median home, but it's okay. It's an easy number. So the monthly principal plus interest payment would be $4,200. The total interest at the end of the loan, so remember we bought a $500,000 house, the total amount of interest that you paid would be $259,000 in interest. So that's just for the right to make payments over time. You've paid you paid over half of the value of the property in interest.
That is slightly too much. Just slightly, right? Just like
now,
half of the value.
Let me do a 30-year.
Oh, no.
Okay. A 30-year, your payment comes down considerably. So your monthly payment on this same home, $500,000, 6% fixed interest, goes down to $3,000 a month. Okay, so your payment goes down.
That's nice.
Yeah, so that's nice. It's more affordable on a monthly basis. But guess what? I guess how much interest you pay over the lifetime of the loan. The first 15-year was $250,000. What do you think it is on 30 years?
Probably just like twice the normal value.
It's $578,000 you pay in interest. So you've paid more in interest
That's insane.
than the home was purchased for on a 30-year mortgage.
I would never have guessed it would be more than the actual house.
Yeah.
And if that's in a 30-year mortgage, I cannot imagine what 50 years would be.
Let's talk 50-year mortgage.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. So here's the benefit would be your payment would come down. So again, $500,000 loan, 6% fixed interest rate, 50-year mortgage. Your payment goes from $3,000 down to $2,578. So
that's nice.
Around $2,500. So it comes down $400 and some dollars, a little bit more affordable, not dramatic. And the amount of interest you pay on that $500,000 home over 50 years.
I'm gonna guess it. I'm gonna guess.
Guess.
Is it 950,000?
1,288,000. So
that's 300,000 more than I would have guessed.
Yeah, so
that's twice as much as it would have been for 30 years.
So the $500,000 loan, you've paid off the principal and interest, and you've paid in interest 2.5 times what the home was worth when you bought it. Right?
That's insane.
That's kind of insane. So who benefits out of that situation? I guess the homeowner could benefit because they get into a home that they can't afford, but they can afford the monthly payments. Who else benefits?
The government.
The government, because
whoever's taking in the interest.
Whoever's making the interest on the property?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got a hard asset behind it. So the entity that's providing the loan, likely a big bank.
Making a lot of money.
Banks make a lot of money. And if you don't make the payments, what does the bank do? Do you know?
Oh, don't they take assets from you?
They take the home.
That's like a great deal for the bank.
Yeah. That's why they do loans. Guess who else makes a lot of money on these purchases?
I don't know. Who?
The insurance companies, because you got to pay insurance on the home, right? And that goes up with the value of the home.
The value of the
Yeah.
Interesting.
Guess who else does well when home prices go up?
I don't know.
Well, the owner, because the value of the home might go up, right? But also the government, because
that's what I already said though in the very beginning.
Well, you said the person that provides the loan, which is the bank, but the government charges tax, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we've talked about, do you even really own your home? Like this is sort of like home ownership 101. I want everybody to really listen because we've talked about this on our channel before, but when you buy a home, you are buying the right to live in that property, but you don't have exclusive rights to it because you have to pay property taxes every year. If you fail to pay property taxes, your home can be seized, or your assets can be seized, and you can be kicked out of your own home that you bought
Because you're not paying taxes.
because you're not paying property taxes. And property taxes vary greatly across the country. We live in a place where they're not too bad. In Arizona, they're around 0.6% every year. But that adds up.
Yeah.
Think about if you bought a home for and homes have gone up greatly in value, right?
Yeah.
So if you bought a home, let's say 20 years ago for $100,000, this would not be crazy. Like when I moved here to Phoenix, for example, I bought a condo for $50,000. So let's just say $50,000. And that same property would probably be worth $500,000 today. So back in the year, let's say 2000 for simple numbers.
Yeah.
I would have paid property tax of 50,000 times 0.6. That would be
1,000 times 0.6.
Yeah.
Oh, give me a second. I need to think here.
$300 a year in
interest.
In property insurance or property taxes. Okay.
Oh.
Now you'd be paying $3,000 a month. A year in property taxes. And if you have a $5 million home, you're paying $30,000 a year in property taxes. Because it's based on the assessed value of your property. And somebody actually put in the chat that their state property tax is 2.23%. So there are states like I think New Jersey is one of the highest in our country, where it's like 2%. So imagine if you had a home you bought for $100,000 and now it's worth $1 million. So $100,000 you were paying $2,000 a year, and now it's worth $1 million. You're paying $20,000 a year, and you didn't plan on this, and so you got to somehow come up with the money to pay this. And if you don't, the government will just tell you can't live there anymore. So the question really becomes like, do you really own your home, or are you just renting the property from the government?
It's practically kind of like a front buy and then you rent, basically.
Yeah. So anyway, so not only is a 50-year mortgage really damaging to one's actual equity that they're building, they're just paying interest over they're essentially renting the home from the bank, and then they're also concurrently renting the home from the government. So this is like probably one of the worst ideas I've seen from this administration.
Well, yeah.
It might boost homeownership, which people think is a good thing, but not if property values tank and people get over their head in debt like that. Then it's not a good thing. Like, I understand the American dream, but wow, this could be really dangerous.
Yeah. Another thing that when we were talking about this before we came on, right? Mom mentioned how, like, say maybe there's some grandparents who want to, like, in their 80s, right? Who really want to enjoy the end of their life. So they decide to buy, let's just say, for example, like a $20 million home. Super expensive, right? And then they also take this 50-year thing.
Yeah.
And then according to you, I think you said they'd probably pay like around 2.5 times at the end of the 50 years at the interest if it's 6%, right?
Yeah.
So like they would, start paying it, and then they probably will not live another 50 years.
Right.
So like what, 130 basically?
Yes.
So then eventually the kids are going to have to start paying off the debt basically that they put on.
Well, once the owners pass, what they would do is they would either sell the property or recast the loan into the new owner's name, or take out a new loan on the property, or they would sell it and share the profits in the estate. They wouldn't just keep it open. Like you don't pass mortgages down through generations typically. Oh. But it's an interesting idea. And so I guess, like, if we want to increase home ownership and we want to give people more buying power on their homes, maybe there's different ways to do it. A 50-year mortgage is not a wise one, in my opinion. Like, when you do the math, it's not good for people. It's not good for the economy, and it probably bring up prices more and make people pay more interest and have less ownership, even though they think they're owning something. So what other things might we be able to do? You got any ideas, big guy?
Like, what do you mean be able to do?
to get people into homes more, owning more homes?
Um, off the top of my mind, there's nothing that necessarily people could really do, or like the government or like we could do
Mm.
basically, because the like people sell their homes,
Mm-hmm.
and those people that are selling the homes determine the value of how much you're selling it for. So then if everybody's basically started selling it at like one price, and everybody's is basically just going to keep going up, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Um, Somehow,
Yeah.
if
Well.
like you're able to get money out of the system, which you can't really do, then you're able to maybe lower the homes because there's less money
Mm-hmm.
to go around, and then
Yeah.
not have to worry about the high value. But in general, it's nothing I don't think you could really do.
Yeah. Maybe one idea is that at some point in your life you can take out, and maybe you can add to it over time, but you can take out a long-term loan from some entity, the bank, but then transfer it between different properties. So like when you're 25, you take out a 50-year mortgage for $500,000, and maybe you add to it when you're older or whatever, but then that just goes to whatever property you have instead of initializing it every single time. And you do that at a rate that you'd have to find rates that are um, fair to the consumer. The other thing that one might, so that's kind of an out of the box idea. The other one is that we bring down or we abolish property taxes, or we fix property taxes to the date of purchase. So for example,
That'd be amazing.
the value of the home would always be the date of purchase. So if you bought the home for $500,000, that would be your lifetime property tax value. That would allow people, particularly when they're retiring, to understand and predict their payments, right?
Yeah.
Because if inflation continues to rise, which most likely it will, based on everything we know, then if that home becomes $5 million home, the people living in it probably can't afford it if they're older and retired.
Yeah.
So then they have to move. That's kind of a bummer. That's not very fair, right? These people bought the home, paid cash for it. And so I think if you and they've done this in a couple of places where they grandfather the homes, but they stopped doing it because it's not an advantage to the state. The state wants those property taxes at the highest level possible, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So I
The
think that's
thing is
another one.
also, though, I understand also more why they wouldn't do it is probably because people could really take advantage of that
Mm,
if they did that. I've probably told this before to you because I think this is funny, but like maybe say you guys want your house to, like this house to like be less when you comes to property tax, right? Then
mhm,
maybe you could just sell to like grandma and grandpa for like $1, and then they
mm,
could sell it back to you for $1,
mm.
and then that suddenly your property tax is 0.6% according to Phoenix
Well,
of
yeah.
$1, and then that doesn't, and then at that point also then doesn't
W-
seem very fair.
Well, it doesn't go by sale price. It goes by assessed value. So the city will assess.
I know, but Dad, you said that if you would, what you said currently, right? But you
Hmm.
said, but if they judged it off, if they judged it based off of the bought price.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I would say in general circumstances, they're not too far off. Like the city will assess the value at what properties are going for. And so properties will go up and down in value or demand and so forth. But if you sell a property that is a $5 million property for $1, they're not going to assess the property at $1. They're going to assess it at what the per square foot value in that neighborhood would normally go for.
No, Dad, I'm going off of what you recommended,
Okay.
and then what could possibly happen
All right. I
if
guess I
that
wasn't.
happened.
I'm sorry, I wasn't
Yeah,
following you.
that's fine.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I don't know. This is kind of a bugger. I think unfortunately homes have just become so expensive that it's becoming unaffordable. Many people are renting. Big corporations like BlackRock are buying properties. That's not good for people. And what else? And you don't own your property in the first place. You're renting it from the government because of property taxes.
Yeah.
So this is not good one. Not a good one. Thumbs down on 50-year mortgages. What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, but let us know in the chat. We'll answer a couple of questions.
If there are any.
Yeah. Second home taxes are crazy. Yeah. Yes.
There's an extra tax on the second home. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, they charge basically property taxes on all your homes
Well,
and insurance. Somebody said, "Why
that's
am I talking to
interesting.
you through a video camera?" Well, you're actually right. You're like right here.
Yeah, thing is, like,
Because
that
you gotta have two cameras.
is
Otherwise,
right there.
what's up?
So
What's
he
up?
could say hi, but uh-oh, I got it stuck.
Yeah.
I'll get it.
Thanks.
I'm sorry about
now
that.
it's just all me.
No worries. I got this.
Okay. Yeah. So we are in the same room, but the camera setup requires this. So let's see. That is.
Yeah, it makes it slightly nicer. Where
I'm a conservative kid, and this is my flag. Darn right. You're darn right.
What
flag is yours? How about that? What do we think of Israel? Well, Israel's a hot topic these days. It's very in vogue to hate Israel right now. I don't think that's necessary. I think, people are people everywhere. Now, you could disagree with their level of influence in the world. I think that's a legitimate thing to be concerned about. The other is how they're treating the conflict with Palestinians. And I think there's just criticism over that. But to just say that like Jews are bad and be an anti-Semite, that's not productive.
Yeah.
But we're seeing more and more of that.
I mean, I think that's pretty cool that somehow they're living off of, like, somehow surviving. Actually, they basically have survived against all these people which are surrounding them. And also the only reason why or one of the main reasons why we think Israel is probably the better option here is because everybody that's surrounding them are basically terrorists, right?
Mm.
It's governed basically by a terrorist group.
In some cases, yes.
Yes,
And
specifically in.
It's tricky to have people surrounding you that all hate you, right? Like that's what this situation Israel's in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you gotta kind of give them a little bit of I think understanding there. Okay, let's see. I think that's kind of it. If any other questions, we'll knock them out. Otherwise, we'll wrap up this little live session. We just thought we'd weigh in on the 50-year mortgage because it has been in the news and it's absurd, right? Like, who's going to do that? That doesn't make any sense. So I think it's fair. Like when bad policy comes out, we got to criticize that too, even though we are more favorable towards this administration than unfavorable. So, all right. Well, with that, we'll wrap it up.
Yep. Nice. Play the music.
Oh, yeah.
If you really like music.
Woo!